So there are few channels out there, there's not a lot of information out there about protecting yourself from the coronavirus. And that's unfortunate because that's a huge failure in the preparedness community. It's a huge failure in the first aid community. It's a huge failure in any community that wants to teach first aid, and that includes some of the people that I follow on that talk about tactical medicine. So if you're carrying a tourniquet, you should be wearing a face mask. It makes no sense. You might as well just leave your tourniquet at home if you don't have a mask with you. And so diseases aren't supposed to be politicized, and unfortunately that's what has happened. The disease is also new, and so the government hasn't moved extremely quickly about getting behind standards on face masks, and that's what helps. That has been creating a lot of misconceptions about what you need to carry with you, what you need to have on to protect you. So the gold standard is always going to be the N95 mask. It's not terribly stylish, not awesome, not comfortable, but it's going to protect you from any biological concern, from the COVID-19, breathing in and breathing out, and that's what's key. Oftentimes you'll see on masks like this or on respirators, they have a valve in there, and the valve helps you exhale, which then exhales the disease that you might have within you. So it really doesn't do any good protecting the community, which is important. In the preparedness community is one of the most important aspects of preparedness, so it makes no sense at all to be spreading a disease within your community. So you're not just about protecting yourself, it's about protecting others through the spread. So you want to avoid those N95 masks with the valves. Kind of next in line in comfort is the surgical mask. Certainly, if it works well for a surgeon, it's going to work well for you. It's a little bit more comfortable, lightweight, disposable, right? So it makes it a great application. There are some masks that are rated for surgery, meaning that liquid contact. You don't necessarily need that. And the N95 and the surgical masks, certainly when supplies dwindle, is something that you might want to consider saving for people who actually need to be protected because of their job. And so that brings us to the next mask, which is the 3-layer mask. This is a very comfortable mask. And it has 2 layers of cotton and then a poly filter inside there. And it's going to do an equal job as a surgical mask. And I might even argue, and I can't say this from any expertise, but I might argue that it does a better job because the fit is better. When a mask fits, it's going to contain the contagion better. And so I think that's one of the most important aspects, is to make sure you can put anything on your face, but if it doesn't fit you, then you're not protecting yourself and other people. So this is a great option. The other cotton masks, like something like this, although look really cool, this one has fish on it, does really nothing to protect you unless you have a thread count of 600 or more. So you want to make sure if you have a 2-layer cotton mask instead of like this homemade mask, 600 layer or more, or 600 thread count or more is going to be equal to a 3-layer mask. The bandana and neck gaiters, again, also, I guess, stylish or whatever, do absolutely nothing. So in its projectile form, or when it's being projected, the COVID's being projected out of your mouth, it can come out in liquid form. And then, of course, a bandana or a neck gaiter might help protect that, but not in the aerosol. It's going to go right through the mask and be doing nothing. So you might as well not be wearing a mask. You might as well be focusing on first distance, and then also just staying out of the environment or staying out of exposure. So certainly we want to make sure that we stay out of the exposure of the environment. Second, if we have to, we want to rely on being 6 feet away from people. That's not always the case. So then we want to make sure we're wearing a mask. And that goes for when the vaccines start coming out. And if you're vaccinated, we're still going to need to be wearing masks. We're still going to need to be socially distanced and limiting our exposure to the community and the spread. So that is mask choices. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. I'm not an expert. Happy to answer what I can.